As you opened your eyes this morning, you may have felt the same sense of uncertainty that many experience on the first day of the year. The world often conditions us to believe that a new season only begins when we decide it does, when the clock strikes midnight, when we make resolutions, or when we feel motivated enough to start fresh. But here's the truth: this year is different. Something has already shifted, and it didn't wait for your permission. While you were asleep, something beyond your awareness was already in motion, setting this year in a direction that's designed for your growth, your purpose, and your destiny. It's easy to fall into the belief that the start of a new year is simply an arbitrary moment in time, just another date on the calendar. The world views it as a fresh start, a chance to reset, to make plans, and to try again. But January 1st didn't arrive empty. It wasn't neutral. It wasn't undecided. This day was already charged with purpose before you even opened your eyes. In fact, January 1st was activated long before your first thought, long before your first resolution, and even long before you made any plans for the year ahead. God didn't wait for you to be ready. He moved first. And that move has set everything in motion. This is where the tension lies. Many are unaware of the divine action that has already begun. We are taught to believe that time is linear and that things happen in stages. You work hard, you plan, you set goals, and then hopefully success follows. But what if this year doesn't follow the usual script? What if the first move was made without your involvement? What if the steps ahead of you have already been planned and put into motion by something far greater than yourself? The truth is, God's timing doesn't depend on human understanding. We often think that we have to prepare, to push, to strive, to prove ourselves. But God doesn't work in the realm of deadlines or expectations. God works in the realm of alignment. And alignment doesn't announce itself in a loud, dramatic way. It happens quietly, decisively, and with intention, whether we're aware of it or not. When you woke up this morning, you didn't wake up into a blank page. You didn't wake up to a fresh start where you were required to start everything from scratch. Instead, you woke up into a chapter that had already started writing itself. There are chapters in your life that are already in motion, and this new year is one of them. And here's the beautiful truth: this message is not for everyone. This is for the chosen ones, the ones whose lives are moved before they are fully informed. This is for those whose seasons don't begin randomly or accidentally. This is for those who will look back at this moment and realize that heaven already decided what their year would look like, long before they had any inkling of it. While the world celebrated with fireworks, resolutions, and noise, something much more powerful and strategic was taking place behind the scenes. While everyone else was focused on making noise, God was quietly recalibrating, repositioning, and realigning what needed to be moved in the spiritual realm. This year wasn't activated by human will or energy. It was activated by divine will. And that makes all the difference. If you can grasp this, you'll see the year ahead in an entirely new light. You'll understand that you're not waking up to a year that's simply waiting for you to take action. You're waking up to a year that's already been set in motion for you. And here's the question I want you to ask yourself: what exactly did God initiate while you were unaware? What were the invisible shifts that took place while you slept? These are the questions that will change how you experience the year ahead. Because once you understand that something has already begun on your behalf, you'll never see this year the same way again. You won't feel like you're scrambling to catch up. You'll know that God has already moved first, and that all you need to do is step into the momentum that's already been established. Before we go deeper into this message, I want to pause for a moment. If this resonates with you, if you can already feel that something is different about this year, I want you to take a moment to affirm that alignment. Leave a like on this video to seal the connection, and if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss out on the rest of this powerful journey. Your spirit is aligning with something greater than you can see right now, and this connection is meant to guide you through it. And if you feel a deep knowing in your soul that this message is for you, I invite you to comment 99 below. Spiritually, the number 99 represents completion before the final step, a symbol that you are standing in a place where preparation is meeting destiny and that your season is already in motion. This understanding is pivotal because it changes everything. Most people miss the truth that God does not operate on human timelines. He doesn't wait for the clock to strike midnight, for your resolution to be spoken, or for you to feel ready. Instead, He works in alignment with His purpose for your life. And that alignment doesn't wait for human readiness. It works quietly behind the scenes to ensure that everything falls into place at the perfect moment. What God is doing in this season is not about motivation or energy or even your effort. It's about alignment, and that's what makes it powerful. Once you understand this, you'll stop waiting for external signs of change. You'll stop pushing and striving to make things happen. You'll begin to trust the quiet but powerful work that's already taking place in your life. So as you move through this year, know this: you are not behind. You didn't wake up to a blank slate. You woke up into a season that has already been set in motion on your behalf. You are not rushing to catch up. You are walking in step with what has already been orchestrated for you. And once you recognize that, you will see this year unfold with ease and grace. Your steps will align, your purpose will unfold, and you will move forward with confidence because you will no longer be trying to catch up. You will simply be continuing what God has already started. If this message resonates with you, I encourage you to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Together, let's walk into the year with confidence, knowing that God has already moved on our behalf. Don't let doubt or fear take root. Recognize that your season is already in motion and the best is yet to come. While you were asleep, something profound and invisible was already in motion. God made the first move before the clock even ticked over to January 1st. It wasn't loud, it wasn't obvious, but it was powerful. The moment you opened your eyes to the new year, you were stepping into something that had already been activated. This is where many people miss the true significance of time and change. They believe that movement only happens when they are aware of it, when they start the new year with a list of resolutions, when the countdown ends. But in reality, the true power of this season was set into motion before you even woke up, before your thoughts and plans started to take shape. God's first move. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that the new year begins with our actions, when we decide, when we commit, when we write down our goals and speak our resolutions. But what if I told you that January 1st didn't arrive with neutrality? It wasn't waiting for your permission to start moving. The truth is, God doesn't need human approval to begin a new season. Before you even had the chance to plan, before your first thought of the year emerged, God had already made the first move. This was not just an ordinary change of date. This was a divine initiation, a purposeful shift in the spiritual realm that preceded anything humanly visible. God's first move was not marked by fireworks, not by celebratory countdowns. It was a shift that no human could detect in that moment. No loud announcements or visible signs were required. It was a quiet, unseen operation where heaven moved before earth even caught up. And while you were resting, God aligned the spiritual atmosphere, not because you did something to earn it, but because the timing had arrived. The year didn't begin with your will, your effort, or your energy. It began with God's plan and purpose being set in motion. This move is invisible to the naked eye, but its impact is undeniable, and its ripples will become clear in time. Alignment over dates. Here's a truth that most people overlook. Time in itself does not intimidate God. The calendar doesn't control Him. January 1st does not signal the beginning of the year for God, it simply marks a moment for humanity. The divine timeline is not bound by our Gregorian calendar. God doesn't respond to dates, He responds to alignment. It's a critical shift in our understanding of time and purpose. While the world celebrates with cheers and fireworks marking the turn of a new calendar year, heaven is already ahead. God is not concerned with the ticking of a clock or the changing of a page. He is concerned with the alignment of His will, His purpose, and His people. God's response is not based on our resolution making or our self-imposed deadlines. It's about alignment. Alignment doesn't have a date, a time, or a limit. It's a state of being that allows heaven's purposes to unfold without human interference. While the world is focused on marking moments on a calendar, God is focused on making sure that what is meant to unfold does so according to divine timing, whether or not we are ready to recognize it. When we align ourselves with God's purpose, everything falls into place not because of effort, but because of divine orchestration. God doesn't need to wait for the right time on a human schedule. His alignment knows no calendar. It is eternal, everlasting, and always in motion, unfolding in the exact moment it's needed. That's why you may feel something different this year. It's not about human plans or resolutions. It's about recognizing the divine timing that has already set things in motion. While people focus on making resolutions and trying to change externally, God works quietly in the background, adjusting positions, altering access, and recalibrating boundaries in ways that are invisible to us. God is preparing the path ahead, shifting the unseen forces that govern how we step into our future. We may not feel it immediately, but that's the beauty of divine alignment. It doesn't need your energy or effort to move. It moves according to heaven's timing, and once you realize that, you'll understand that this year is not about striving or rushing. It's about walking in step with what has already been set in motion. Invisible shifts, jurisdiction, and authority. Now let's dive deeper into this idea of divine alignment. The first thing God touches when He moves isn't the visible world around us. It's the invisible framework that governs everything. It's not just about external circumstances changing. It's about jurisdiction being established. Jurisdiction is the unseen realm that determines what has permission to move, what stays, and what is blocked. This unseen framework of authority governs everything that happens in the natural world. When God shifts something in the spiritual realm, it's not always about moving mountains or opening doors. Sometimes it's about shifting the jurisdiction, who has the authority to act, what forces are allowed to operate, and what resistance must be removed. God does not always remove obstacles by force. Sometimes He removes their right to stand in the way. He takes away the legal right for resistance, opposition, and delay to have any authority over you. This doesn't always look dramatic at first. In fact, you might not even notice when it happens. But the change in jurisdiction is profound. When God speaks to your future, He doesn't just move circumstances. He shifts the very foundation that governs your path. This is why things may feel different, even though on the surface nothing seems to have changed. You might wake up on January 1st and feel a sense of quiet intensity or weight, but there may not be any immediate signs of external change. That's because the first thing that happened was not a change in your visible circumstances, but a shift in the invisible authority that governs your life. This is why moments of calm, moments when things feel still, can actually be the most significant. Calm does not equal inactivity. It does not mean that nothing is happening. In fact, calm is often the sign that something foundational is being established. It's the moment when the groundwork is being laid, the invisible forces are being realigned, and the structures that will support your future are being set in place. And when you look back, you'll realize that this quiet moment was the very foundation of everything that will come in the months ahead. The stability that you feel now, the calm that surrounds you, is a sign that heaven has done its work in the unseen realms. It's the calm before the manifestation, the peace that precedes the visible breakthrough. This subtle but powerful shift in jurisdiction doesn't need your awareness to be effective. In fact, God often works in silence to prevent resistance from rising up too early. When something is in its early stages, it's fragile, and exposure to the wrong forces can interfere with its growth. So God works discreetly, adjusting the spiritual atmosphere in ways that cannot be seen or touched. And when that jurisdiction shifts, you'll begin to notice that certain doors open with ease, certain obstacles lose their power, and some resistance simply fades away. The change isn't always immediate, but once it's established, it's irreversible. This is the beauty of God's divine alignment. It's not about the noise of the world or the excitement of a new year. It's about the quiet, invisible work that God is doing behind the scenes to ensure that your life moves in the direction it was meant to. When heaven makes its move, it does not seek approval or validation from human efforts. It simply sets things in place and waits for the right moment to reveal what has already been established. And that's why this year feels different. You didn't wake up to a new year full of pressure or uncertainty. You woke up into a season where God has already moved, first already shifted the spiritual atmosphere, and already made the way for your future. Now all you need to do is walk into it with confidence, knowing that what has already been set in motion is stronger than any resistance you will face. This invisible work is where the real power lies. It's not in the visible external changes that we can see with our eyes. It's in the unseen authority that governs our lives. And once you realize that this shift has already taken place, you'll stop feeling like you're trying to catch up. You'll understand that you're walking in alignment with what has already been divinely orchestrated for you. And that is the most powerful place to be as you step into this new season. As you step into the new year, you may feel a sense of calm, a quiet peace that is different from the typical rush to start fresh. In a world that thrives on excitement, energy, and quick action, the stillness of this moment can feel unfamiliar, even unsettling. But let me assure you, this quiet movement is not only significant, it is the very foundation of everything that will unfold this year. God's strategy for this season is not about loud beginnings or dramatic shifts. It's about a steady, quiet alignment with purpose that ensures everything unfolds with precision and strength. Understanding God's timing. The beginning of this year didn't come with a bang. It didn't arrive with the usual excitement, fireworks, or fanfare. In fact, it was marked by a profound quietness, and this wasn't by accident. God's timing is far more deliberate than we often realize. The year started with a calmness that might have felt strange, almost like something was missing. But in that silence, God was working his strategy. He intentionally allowed this new season to begin quietly to avoid unnecessary attention and, more importantly, to avoid resistance. You see, when something is too loud, too noticeable, it invites opposition. When things begin with a lot of noise, they tend to draw unwanted forces that seek to interrupt or derail the movement. But God in his wisdom knew that this year's true movement would be stronger if it began in silence, undisturbed, and unchallenged. This strategic restraint ensures that the foundation of your year remains stable, grounded, and secure. The quiet beginning is not a sign of inactivity, it's a sign of precision. In the stillness, God was ensuring that everything was in order, that everything was aligned before the external world even realized what was happening. True shifts often begin in silence. While the world is busy chasing after quick fixes and instant results, God's moves are deliberate and powerful in their restraint. There's no rush, no urgency, no panic. Instead, God moves with perfect timing, aligning the right things at the right moment. It's easy to think that nothing is happening when there's no immediate change. We often mistake silence for stagnation, but real change often happens quietly beneath the surface where it's safe from distractions and resistance. When the foundation is being laid, there's no need for noise. The work being done in the unseen is far more powerful than any outward sign of movement. So as you step into this year, don't be alarmed by the quietness. Embrace it. It's the calm before the breakthrough. It's the peace before the power. And it's essential to the strategy God has in place for your life. Peace and positioning. In a world that constantly urges us to move faster, do more and be more, it can feel uncomfortable to not be in a hurry. But this year, God is calling you to trust the peace you feel. The absence of pressure, excitement, and urgency is not a signal that something is wrong. On the contrary, it's an indication that something deeper is happening, something more important than the external noise and distraction. The peace you feel right now is God's positioning. It's a sign that God is setting the stage for something powerful, something that doesn't need to rush to make an impact. God's purpose for the year is already in motion, and you are walking into it without needing to chase it. The feeling of calmness you experience is not a mistake. It's the security that comes with knowing you're already aligned with something far greater than yourself. You are in the perfect position, and everything you need is already within reach. There's no need to strive, no need to push harder than you've been pushed. God's plan for your life is unfolding exactly as it should, and you are in the perfect spot to receive it. Trust that where you are right now is precisely where you're meant to be. It's easy to fall into the trap of feeling like we're behind, like we need to catch up to where we think we should be. The world tells us we should always be moving faster, achieving more, and constantly progressing. But this year, God is showing you a different way. The absence of pressure is not something to fear. It's a divine gift. It's God giving you the freedom to align with His purpose without the weight of striving or forced effort. You are not in a race to see who can do more or get further ahead. Instead, you are walking in step with God's timing, and that path is one of peace, not anxiety. The calmness you feel is God's way of securing you before anything else begins to unfold. It's the stillness that allows your heart to settle into the rhythm of divine movement. The absence of chaos is not a sign of nothing happening. It's the foundation being established. And from that peace, you will begin to see God's plans come to fruition with a certainty that doesn't need to be hurried. You'll find that your steps are steady, not frantic. Your decisions will come with clarity, not confusion. This peace is not the end of the journey. It's the confirmation that you're exactly where you need to be, what you're walking into. You may not fully realize it yet, but as you step into this year, you are walking into something that has already been aligned with your purpose. God has already instructed the year to move in your favor. The moments you're about to experience, the doors that are about to open, the people you'll encounter, they are all part of a divine orchestration that has been set in motion long before you even thought about making resolutions. This is the beauty of trusting God's timing. It removes the burden of feeling like you're behind. You are not behind. You are ahead. The truth is that you've been positioned exactly where you need to be. Your awareness may need to catch up to what's already unfolding, but that's the only gap. You are not scrambling to catch up with the year or with your dreams. You are already ahead because God has already moved. He has already worked out the details, already aligned the circumstances, already set things into motion. You're not waiting for the future to unfold, you're walking into it. And everything you need is already waiting for you, prepared in advance. It's easy to feel as though we are constantly chasing something success, fulfillment, purpose. We've been taught to believe that if we don't constantly strive, we'll fall behind. But what if I told you that this year you're not chasing anything? You are stepping into something that has already been arranged for you. The momentum is already in place. The groundwork has already been laid. You don't have to fight for what is yours. You simply need to trust that God's purpose is already set and it's moving towards you, not away from you. As you walk into this year, trust that the quiet guidance you feel is leading you exactly where you need to go. You may not see the full picture just yet, but each step you take is leading you closer to the manifestation of what has already been prepared for you. The key to walking in alignment is to trust that the movement you feel within you, the quiet nudge that keeps you going, is not a coincidence. It's divine guidance gently steering you toward the right opportunities, the right relationships, and the right moments. You don't have to struggle to make things happen this year. You don't have to force your way into places or opportunities. Trust the quiet movement, the gentle pull that is guiding you toward your purpose. When you step into alignment with God's will, everything falls into place. Doors open without struggle. Opportunities come without manipulation. People will recognize you without you having to prove yourself. This is the year of effortless movement, not because nothing will be required of you, but because God has already made a way for you, and you're simply walking into what He has already prepared. Trust in the quiet but powerful guidance. God's strategy for this season is clear. He's not calling you to chase after your dreams or your purpose. He's calling you to walk into them already in motion. The quietness you feel is not a sign of stagnation. It's a sign that God is guiding you gently and powerfully toward your purpose, without resistance and without rush. The year ahead isn't something you have to fight for. It's something you're walking into. You are ahead even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. Trust in the quiet movement. Trust in the stillness, because that is where the real power lies. In the silence, God is doing the work. In the calmness, He is positioning you exactly where you need to be. And as you continue to trust, you'll begin to see how the year unfolds effortlessly, with doors opening and opportunities aligning, all in perfect timing with your purpose. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, and everything that is meant to come to you will do so in its own time without struggle. As you step fully into this new season, it's essential to grasp one crucial truth. You are not waiting for the year to start working. The truth is, it has already been working for you. Long before you made resolutions, long before you even thought about the challenges or opportunities of the year ahead, God began moving on your behalf. This year, your success, your purpose, and your destiny are not a distant goal that you need to strive for. They are a present reality that you are now walking into. This understanding shifts everything. Doubt, fear, and hesitation. The usual barriers that hold us back from fully embracing what lies ahead lose their authority when you recognize that the divine plan has already been set into motion. When you acknowledge that your life is being guided by something far greater than your own efforts, those internal struggles begin to fade. You realize that the pressure you once felt to control, to force outcomes, or to make things happen is no longer necessary. Why? Because the momentum of the divine has already been activated. All that's left for you to do is align with it. You are not chasing the year, scrambling to get ahead, or desperately trying to catch up with your dreams. You are walking inside something that has already been set in motion. God has already positioned you perfectly. Every move you make is supported by the foundation He's laid for you. Your job is not to figure out how to make everything happen, but to align yourself with what's already been prepared for you. This year is not about pushing harder or striving more. It's about trusting that you are already in the right place and moving with confidence, knowing that everything aligned with your purpose is already on its way to you. This is where the true power lies, living with intention and confidence. The world teaches us that success is about effort and hustle, constantly pushing forward to make things happen. But God's way of movement operates differently. This year is not about trying to catch up. It's about continuing a process that has already been initiated by God. You are not starting from scratch. You are continuing in alignment with what God has already set in motion. This divine momentum does not require you to hustle, struggle, or force things into existence. Instead, it invites you to step forward in faith, knowing that your path is already prepared and everything you need is already in motion. Walking with intention means recognizing that every step you take this year is part of a larger divine plan. You are not walking aimlessly hoping for things to work out. You are walking with purpose, confident that each decision you make, each step you take, is aligned with God's will for your life. You are a part of something greater, something that has already been set in motion, and you are now stepping into the flow of that purpose. Living with confidence comes from knowing that the pressure is no longer on you to make things happen. You don't need to fight against the current of life or push through resistance. The current is already moving in your favor. You are walking with God in sync with His timing, and that changes everything. Confidence doesn't come from external validation, from reaching certain milestones, or from seeing immediate results. It comes from knowing that the divine plan is unfolding perfectly, and you are in the right place at the right time. You are aligned, and that alignment creates momentum without struggle. When you live with this kind of confidence, you carry a quiet assurance that allows you to move with peace no matter the challenges you face. The world may be rushing, pushing, and striving for things, but you rooted in divine alignment will move with purpose and calm assurance. You know that things are falling into place as they should. You know that every challenge you face is part of the process, not a sign that you're behind. And with that knowledge, your every move becomes purposeful and powerful. Now, as you move forward into this year, I want you to affirm something powerful. This affirmation will serve as a reminder that you are not waiting for something to happen. You are already walking in something that has been divinely prepared for you. Say this with me. I am walking inside what God already decided. This declaration is more than just words. It is a statement of alignment. By saying this, you acknowledge that you are not moving forward on your own power or strength. You are moving forward in sync with a plan that has been in place long before you arrived. You are not behind. You are not scrambling. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be, and what you are walking into has already been set in motion on your behalf. Trust in this divine momentum. Trust in the unseen work that has already begun. Trust in the peace, the stillness, the confidence that comes from knowing you are walking in alignment with God's purpose. You do not need to chase the year. Chase your dreams or chase your destiny. Your destiny is already unfolding, and you are already a part of it. This is the year to step confidently into the fullness of who you are, knowing that everything is already in motion and that you are exactly where you are meant to be. So let this truth settle deep within your spirit. The year has already been set into motion for you. You are not waiting for it to begin. You are simply walking into it with intentionality, confidence, and peace. Now that you've embraced this truth, I encourage you to share this message with someone else who may need this reminder. Take a moment to comment below and declare your alignment with God's plan. Say it out loud, I am walking inside what God already decided. Let this affirmation spread and let it be a declaration that you are walking confidently into the future that God has already prepared for you. Feel free to share this message with your friends and family. Someone out there may need this reminder that they are not behind, that they are already walking in the momentum that God has set in motion for them. Together, let's step into this year with faith, purpose, and trust, knowing that everything is working together for our good. Let this be a year of peace, confidence, and divine momentum.